The loose ends. Stanley, Eric, and Freddie, middle-aged, stand in a perfect triangle inside an abandoned warehouse. The only light that is cast is from a camping lantern setting atop a small table. Stanley: "You guys are ganging up on me." Freddie: "I'm sorry if this is a surprise." Stanley: "Well, it is. I don't know what to say. When we spoke last week, you boys were both on board. What the hell happened?" Freddie: "Me and Eric got to talking. There's too much at stake here. We feel like there's some loose ends that we can't ignore." Stanley: "Well then, let's get this out in the air, shall we?" He crosses his arms. His suede jacket rises above his midriff, revealing the butt of his pistol, tucked into the waistband of his jeans. "Let's knot up all those loose ends, right, boys?" Freddie: "We don't... Well, the problem is..." Eric: "We don't want to kill the guard, all right? It's not necessary." Stanley: "So here lies the problem. Murder. Your consciences can't deal with that ugly, ugly word. Is that right?" Both men nod. Stanley continued: "Let me put it this way, boys. When we hit the cemetery on Monday night, the only thing standing between us and our treasure is the watchman. The only way to make sure he doesn't talk is if we bury him along with my uncle." Freddie: "I don't see why we can't knock him out and tie him up." Stanley: "Okay, apparently you haven't been listening to me. If we tied the guy up, the next morning he'd tell the cops a group of men with shovels roughed him up and entered the graveyard. Then we'd have pigs snooping around the place, and they'd find footprints, shit like that. Somehow all signs would point to my uncle, and then I'd have police knocking on my door. Anyone with real cause to take the family treasure would be someone from his own family." Eric: "But if we made sure there was no sign your uncle's grave was disturbed, the police shouldn't come looking for you." Stanley: "You don't get it." He closes his eyes and clenches his fists. "The sheer idea is that men with shovels entered a boneyard. What does that mean? Grave robbers. Police will eat that up. The cemetery knows a man was just buried with a variety of expensive trinkets, and all they need is the man's gravestone to record his name. Then they'll go from there." Freddie: "You're going about this the wrong way. We should sneak into the cemetery without even worrying about the guard. I bet that fucker sleeps the whole night anyway." Stanley: "And be looking over our shoulders all night?" Freddie: "It's just an idea. That's what we're doing here. We're coming up with, I don't know, alternatives." Stanley: "Do you realize how much thought I put into this plan? My uncle was buried a month ago this Friday, and we're set to dig next Monday. Even before I called you, I had this all charted point for point, and I'm not going to change it just because you boys are having a panic attack. Do you know how long I've been waiting to get my hands on these heirlooms?" Freddie: "Yes, your entire life. Ever since I've known you, your great-grandfather's pocket watch was all you ever talked about." Eric: "And his war medals?" Stanley: "They were supposed to be mine. As the last descendant of the White family line, I deserve them. My uncle was a selfish man, and even now as he begins to stink, he is a selfish man." Eric: "What's more selfish than selling your family heirlooms to some pawn shop?" Stanley: "Fuck you! From now on, Freddie speaks for you. We're the ones talking, and you're just here to look pretty." Eric: "Hey man, I'm just trying to help you. You needed an extra man to dig a grave, and here I am. I think..." Stanley: "I don't give a shit what you think. This is my plan here, and it's perfect just as it is. I was the one that met with the collector down in Longshore and had my family treasure valued. If you boys want that 800 grand split 3 ways, you will do things my way." Eric: "Bullshit. You need us and you know it. It'll take all night if you dig that grave alone." Stanley: "If you talk again, it'll be your body I push into that grave." Eric: "Kiss my..." Freddie: "Just breathe here, please. He's only trying to help. We've known each other a long time, Stan. You can trust that I chose Eric for a reason. How many jobs have we done together, huh? We're petty thieves, that's all we've ever been. All we're good at is cracking safes. To put money before a human life it's meaningless." Stanley: "Answer me this. When was the last time we worked together? 10 years? Changed a lot since then." Freddie: "I'm sorry you feel that way." Stanley: "I'm not. I'm thinking logically here. This way no one has to know. We kill the poor slug and then he gets buried in the same grave we have to fill anyway. It's flawless. Think about it." Freddie: "Listen to you. Kill the poor slug and no one has to know? You haven't killed a wild animal, let alone a human being. What makes you think you can do it?" Stanley whips out his weapon and points it into Freddie's face. Freddie backs up against the wall, palms out. Eric: "For God's sake, he's your friend." Stanley whirls around to point the gun at Eric, who ducks to the floor, huddling against the wall and hiding his face in his hands. Freddy. Stan, please! Stanley. I tell you to bring someone trustworthy into this job and this is who you choose? Look at him, cowering like a child. Freddy. You're pointing a gun at him. Stanley. He's the reason why you're backing out, isn't he? He swayed you, made you soft. Freddy. So, you're gonna kill us? Is that it? Stanley. Stanley cocks the gun and Eric whimpers through his fingers. Well, no. I forgot to load it. He lowers his weapon, walks to the door, opens it, and turns around before stepping outside. I'm better than you. Freddy. Yeah, I bet. It's gotta be nice to have no principle. Stanley. Are you kidding? It's great. Just look at you, teetering on your feet, and look at your disgusting pet on the floor. He would love to tear my throat out, I know. I, on the other hand, wouldn't waste a bullet on either one of you. Freddy. Who are you? Stanley. I'm your friend, you asshole. Sure. Even though you stabbed me in the back, I've learned a lot in these 10 years. I learned how to calm myself by clenching my fists. I'm better than you because I can make a fist and regulate my heartbeat. I can remain calm and even smile. He shows off his yellow teeth. My hands are not weapons. A real weapon can clean out a person's skull. Freddy. I feel sorry for you. Stanley. Don't. We're all going to hell. The door cracks open and light fills the room. Then Stanley is gone. The door closes behind him. Eric. Eric regains his feet with the help of Freddy. Good lord. Where'd you meet that psycho? Freddy. Elementary school? Eric. You're kidding me. Freddy. No. Eric. All right. Now for plan B. We're doing things my way now. Freddy. Can't say we didn't try. Eric. There's no convincing a psychopath. I told you we'd be wasting our breath. Freddy. But we have a history. I thought if anyone could change his mind, it was me. Eric. And you tried, but he had the gun. Maybe that's where we went wrong. If you want to convince someone, you buy a gun. Freddy. What do you think he'll do when he turns on the news tomorrow morning and sees that we beat him to the punch? You know the guard is going to talk. Eric. He'll come after us. Freddy. He won't find us, right? Is it even worth it? Eric. 800 grand? Are you kidding? Freddy. No. For the sake of that poor watchman. If we don't go to that graveyard tonight, Stanley will kill him next Monday. Eric. So is it better that we die in his place? Freddy. I don't know. Eric. Sounds like we got the sour end of the deal. I don't know about you, but I'm headed straight to Canada with my cut. Freddy. We should probably get going if we got to get to the graveyard by nightfall. We need to get dark clothing, masks, flashlight, rope, don't forget the chloroform, and the shovels, of course. Eric. No, I thought ahead. The shovels are in my car right now. Freddy. Your car? Eric. Yeah, my car. Freddy. Did you cover them up, put them in a bag, or just throw them in your trunk? Eric. No, they're in my back seat. Why? Freddy. Did you hear Stanley's car at all? Eric. Actually, I didn't. You don't think he saw them, would he assume? They both stare soundlessly at the closed door. Freddy. How long does it take to load a gun? Eric. Shit. Freddy. Will he come back in here or wait for us to come out? Eric. You're the one who's known him since elementary school. Freddy. And still I can't say. All I know is that my life is flashing before my eyes. Do you feel that too? Have you ever heard your heart beat that clearly before? Eric. And all because of a couple shovels. It isn't fair. Freddy. I think I can hear those bullets clicking into the chambers, one by one. Then they both hear Stanley's engine roar into life outside the warehouse. They listen as the noise slowly ebbs away into nothing. Eric. I think I'll stay home tonight. Freddy. I was thinking the same thing. Eric. And the watchman? Freddy. God help him. They both make their way toward the exit, and Freddy stops to pick up the camping lantern. Before Eric even has a chance to open the door, Freddy switches off the light. End scene.